Hey kids, it's Anglantine here. I was doing my rounds on the comic book news sites, finding articles and such. I came across this one. Now, it was published on May 8th, so it's not new. It's newish. And it was written by a guy named Keith O'Neill with superhero stuff. Link should be in the description below. And it's called 4 Reasons Why Fans Need to Unclench and Simply Enjoy Secret Empire. And I would like to point out, if you have not noticed, that right away it's confrontational. It's putting him in the right and you in the wrong if you don't automatically accept and agree with Secret Empire. Personally, I hate the fact that they made Cap into a Nazi. I have my reasons, and some of them are going to be brought out in this particular thing here. However, nothing I'm going to say is going to stop it, so let's see how the story goes from here on out. That's my take on the whole thing. Do I not like it? I absolutely don't, but it's here. It's queer. Get used to it. I'm going to skip his introduction and just go straight to the 4 reasons. So if you do want to see his introduction, by all means, like I said before, the link is in the description below. Number 1. First, I think a lot of people out there who are offended, a word that's lost all meaning these days, and that's true, don't read comics. You have people who aren't reading the stories but weighing in on them like they are some sort of authority. If the people hurt by Cap's betrayal honestly read the comics, then they'd know about the Red Skull's use of the Cosmic Cube, which brings me to the next point. Starting off with the first thing he says right here, that they think that most people who are weighing in don't read the stories. That is a very common debate tactic, especially among journalists, because they try to use the most extreme as the norm. So if they can get you to admit that some people who are complaining don't read comics, then you have to agree that all are. And that's what he's trying to do right here. Now, I admit, when I heard that Captain America said, "Hail Hydra," my first thought was, okay, so what's next? Because I am a comic book reader, and I've seen Captain America get mind-controlled by the Red Skull and forced to say, "Hail Hitler." So this was old news. However, this is a different time then. Back then, we were happy to be Americans. We were proud. You know, now it's everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is problematic. America is the greatest evil. That's the message we're getting from our pop culture. So why would we not think that this is the same message, just reiterated? Only this time Marvel is using their most shining example of patriotism and American exceptionalism as a way of showing us that, yes, we are the biggest evil on the face of the planet. Number 2, there's been a lot of misinformation about Secret Empire's buildup and how Captain America came to align himself with Hydra. Now, this one's just bad writing. Why? Because it reiterates what was said in the first one. That people don't know that Captain America became part of Hydra because of the brainwashing done by the Cosmic Cube. And then it says, if you get mad at Captain America for his actions when he's hypnotized, you're a jerk. Well, let's talk about that. This is Captain America. He's been around since March of 1941. Now, I think that he's a pretty cool character, and I've seen him do many, many heroic things, and a couple of times I've seen him do some unheroic things. That being said, if I see a picture of him prison raping the Energizer Bunny, I'm not going to go, "Ooh, I'm so mad at Captain America." I'm going to go, who drew Captain America prison raping the Energizer Bunny? This is Nick Spencer, writer of Captain America. He's the one that said, you know what, I want to see Captain America as a Nazi. I want to bring down one of America's greatest patriotic characters. And this is who most comic book readers would blame if they're saying, well, why is it going like this? We don't blame editorial, because if you've been reading Marvel Comics for any amount of time, you know that they just don't have any editors over there. People who don't read comics and people who are just fed up with the forced and divisive politics that are placed in Marvel Comics these days usually just blame Marvel as the entity as a whole on Captain America being a Nazi right now. Number 3. Also, I think a lot of people are injecting politics into Secret Empire when there aren't any. Do you believe that Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Secret Empire writer Nick Spencer would sit down in front of his computer and say, "Today I want to piss off fans, yes, 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 3 times, 4 times, yes. Holy Hannah and Captain Toledo, yes. Snyder's tool belt, yes. If you ever follow him on Twitter, yes, 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 he would do that, yes." Not that he wouldn't have his reasons to want to write a story that would piss off all the fans. You make Steven Rogers evil enough, then maybe we're that much more willing to accept Sam Wilson as Captain America rather than the Falcon. Finally, let's remember this is a comic book story. Unless this is happening in the real world, we shouldn't be upset or outraged by Secret Empire. Comic fans can be passionate, but let's not let that passion get out of hand. Keep in mind, these are fictional characters we are talking about. Sure, fictional character created by two Jewish guys as their avatar, if you will, to fight the Nazi scum. The second worst killers of the 20th century, right behind communism. Worst if you consider the fact that communism killed randomly and Nazism was trying to genocide an entire people, which these two people represent. That's Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, by the way. For my entire life, the comic book hobby has been blown off as something childish or something that really doesn't matter. It just hasn't. Now, I've touched on this kind of thing in my video, Why It Matters, so let me expand a little bit. Imagine you're a doctor, and you are stressed to the gills, and you need to go and do the one thing that you love, which is play golf. Now, you go out to the golf course, and somebody's filled all of the holes. You shouldn't get mad. After all, it's only a game. So you go up to the management and you say, what the heck? All of the holes are filled up. What am I supposed to do? This is the way I relax. This is how I calm down after a hard day's work. And the manager says, well, we changed the game. From now on, you land the ball on the little patch of grass that used to be a hole. You know, the game's there. You can play it. But it's not the same game that allowed you to relax. Now, should you just shut up about it and play it anyway? Or should you complain? You shouldn't lose sleep at night over what happens in a comic book. Obviously, you can have an opinion on what goes on in the pages of your favorite book, but keep your emotions in check. Up until now, the barrier between fans and creator was big. Back then, if something happened in a comic book we didn't like, we fans talked about it to each other, but kept it civil. Actually, we had some loud arguments. No fist fights or anything, but I remember arguments getting loud. Even if we don't like what happens, we can't attack the writer or artist online, which happened last year when Captain America explained Hail Hydra. Nobody should be threatened because of what they write in a comic book story, as in ever, and I agree with this. They absolutely shouldn't get death threats or anything. However, this is the however. I'm not howevering the death threats. Don't do that. That's an absolute. However, I can see big arguments happening when you get somebody like Nick Spencer, when somebody says, what the hell are you doing? This story is crap, blah, 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 yada, yada, and they attack right back. There are ways to deal with this kind of thing. Anybody with a YouTube channel has been attacked. I've been told get off and that I should kill myself because of my opinions. It was very simple. I said, well, why don't you tell me your opinion and we can discuss it? Then Keith gives a personal anecdote, which is also a bad way that people who can't debate do debate. And after that, he says, so with all that said, if you're going to have an opinion, have an informed opinion. Don't just go by what others say. Read Secret Empire or the Captain America books leading up to for yourself. Then decide what you think. You may find all the anger you're feeling might be for nothing. The most infuriating thing about this article is it's about going into a story informed, while it does not fully inform the readers of what has been going on for the last few years with Marvel Comics and the SJW agenda. Now, this might have actually been a better story to have, what was it, 10, 12 years ago, other than the Civil War. We would have been in a different climate. We might have accepted this story a lot more. However, after having the forced divisive politics shoved down our throat, after being told we were wrong so often every time we questioned whatever Marvel was doing, after all of that, when this story comes out, it was just one more middle finger to the readers. And maybe it was just one too many at this point. But that's how it felt. We've been pushed around. We have said, don't put this in your books, please, and we were called racist. We were called sexist. We ask, where's the Hulk? Well, it's that Chinese guy. The Hulk's not Chinese, you're racist. Wait a second, wasn't Ms. Marvel blonde? Well, she's Captain Marvel. Well, why, so Ms. Marvel's, she's a Muslim now? Oh, you must be against all Muslims. that's the way it's been. And yet that isn't mentioned in this article. So I say let's not listen to Kevin O'Neill. Enjoy it if you want. Read it if you want. And even if you don't want and you feel like bitching about a Nazi cap, by all means bitch about a Nazi cap. Because we've earned it. Flat out. Because we have blindly bought every issue of whatever Marvel comic we loved, expecting each issue to be just as good as the last. And for a long time now, Marvel hasn't delivered. And we're fed up with it. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on the subject. What do you think? Where was I right? Where was I wrong? Rip me a new one. I know I got a little bit political here, so I'm way open to that, I guess. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, click like. Please share. Tweet this thing out. I could definitely use that kind of thing. And if you haven't yet done it, subscribe. But most importantly, thank you very, very much for watching.